So, Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to Dr. Farah Adila. So, today we will present our topic, which is the evaluations and development of local government system in Malaysia. So, let me introduce myself. My name is Wahida Safia binti Jasni, number ID 2024959671 with my team members.
My name is Tracy Aparas. My matrix number 2024921813.
My name is Aisha Sofia binti Habibullah. My ID number 2024938505.
My name is Nur Hamiza binti Fauzi and my ID number is 2024539701.
My name is Shazrin Aimin Abdul Razak. My ID is 2024924499.
Okay. So, for the introduction, I will explain about the local government in Malaysia from colonial to the modern era. Here given is the timeline from year to year. So, Malaysia local government system has a long history, beginning in the colonial era in 1801, meaning hence the Committee of Assessor, which later evolved into municipal committees and municipal council. Rural Board and Sanitary Board were also introduced, eventually become Town Council and Local Council across Malay State, Sabah and Sarawak during the colonial system. After the independence, 1957, local council allowed citizens to elect representative, giving Malaysia grassroots democracy. However, the tragic 13 May 1969 riot changed this path. The government abolished local election, feared instability and moved towards centralisation. This culminated in the Local Government Act of 1976, which placed council under state control, shift their role for democratic institution to administrative bodies. Today, local government focus on urban planning, infrastructure and community service, reflecting both their colonial root and modern national principle. So I will pass to the next present.
Hello everyone, I will continue this presentation by explaining how the British changed local administration in Malay State after 1874. First, let's talk about the Sultan. Before the British, the Sultan has absolute power over his state. But after the Pankar Treaty of 1874, everything changed with the British resident system. The Sultan was now required to accept a British resident whose advice had to be followed on all administrative and economic matters. The only thing the Sultan still controlled was Malay religion and custom, what we call adat. So, the Sultan became a symbolic figure, still the head of state, but basically just legitimizing British policy. They lost their real political power. Next, what happened to other leaders? District chief, called Pembesar, previously collected taxes and maintained peace locally. The British removed their tax collection right and replaced them with British financial organization. To control this shift, they created the State Council, but it was just an illusion of decision making. The resident control everything, so chief become paid employee. At the village level, the British used the penghulu, the village headman, before before he was just an elder chosen by the community. But the British made him their intermediary. Now we had to follow district officer order, register land, collect taxes, and maintain law. The village elder became a colonial bureaucrat. This system was called indirect rule. The British keep the traditional structure looking the same, but it turned upside down. Sultan lost political power. Chiefs become advisor. Village headmen become bureaucrats. The system had to go. Preserve Malay culture through religion, adat, while ensure the British completely control administration and economy. That's all from me. Next, I will pass to the next presenter.
So, local government during late colonial period. Kuala Lumpur's local government began with the Sanitary Board in 1890, which was responsible for providing basic urban services such as sanitation, drainage, street lighting, and public market management. Over time, the system evolved into the Kuala Lumpur municipality in 1948 and was later upgraded to Dewan Bandaraya Kuala Lumpur (DBKL) in 1972. In 1946, the introduction of the Malayan Union brought a more unified administrative system aimed at improving the management of government services throughout the country. The British administration also expanded the powers of local authorities to improve administrative efficiency and strengthen community representation. To encourage public participation in local government, local elections were introduced in 1950. These elections allow citizens to elect representatives to manage local affairs. However, local elections were suspended in 1966 due to political and security concerns and were eventually abolished in 1976 under the Local Government Act. Next, I will pass to the next presenter.
So as sorry. So after, as I mentioned earlier, for the post-colonial period, it happened to be an issue which is a Malaysia racial riot, May 1969. So after independence in 1957, Malaysia inherited a colonial system marked by inequality and ethnic divisions. Local council were elected, giving citizens a taste of grassroots democracy in a post-colonial period. But this fragile democracy was shaken in 1969. The general election saw the ruling alliance lose ground to oppositions, parties and ethnic tensions exploded into 13 May incidents. A tragic race riot in Kuala Lumpur that claimed a tragic 200 lives. This tragedy revealed how unresolved colonial legacy of inequality and poverty among the Malay majority and could fuel instability. In response, the government feared that the local election might deepen ethnic polarizations and weaken political control. As a result, local council elections were abolished and representatives were appointed instead. This marked a turning point in Malaysia post-colonial governance. By 1976, the Local Government Act centralised power under the state's government, transforming local council into administrative body rather than democratic institution. So the tragedy of 30 May was not only a human disaster, it permanently reshaped Malaysia local government, shifting it from elected grassroots democracy to centralised system to design to maintain stability in diverse post-colonial society. Next, I will pass to the next presenter.
So the centralized control and structuring. First, local government in Malaysia falls under the state list of the Federal Constitution, meaning that state governments have authority over local governments. However, in practice, the federal government maintains strong control through various laws, policies, and financial mechanisms that influence local administration. Another important development was the Federation of Malaya Agreement of 1948, which strengthened the authority of the central government and helped establish a more unified system of governments. Since local governments had often limited sources of revenue, state governments relied on financial support from the federal government to fund the development and public services. In 1971, the new economic policy or NEP used local administration as a tool for socio-economic restructuring. Its main goals were to reduce poverty, promote economic participation among Bumiputra communities, and support national development objectives. Later, during the Mahathir era, centralization was further strengthened to improve efficiency, productivity, and industrial development. Local governments were viewed as important instruments for implementing national policies and supporting Malaysia's industrialization processes. So I will pass to the next presenter.
Explain on the present local government. Malaysia government has three tiers, which is federal, state, and local. Local government, often called as local authorities, is the third and most immediate layer of governance. It's the level that citizens interact with daily because local authorities deliver essential services, manage local planning and issue license, and enforce bylaws. The legal foundation for local government in Peninsular Malaysia is the Local Government Act 1976, also known as Act 171. This act standardized the structures, powers, and function of local authorities across Peninsular Malaysia. However, Sabah and Sarawak are exception due to their special constitutional status under the Malaysian Agreement of 1963. They operate under their own local government ordinance. Importantly, local government in Malaysia is not independent. It functions under the authority of the state government. State hold constitutional powers to appoint councillors, approve annual budget, and sanction major policy decision. This creates a dual layer of oversight. Federal law provides the framework, but state government exercise direct control over local authorities. The result is a top-down system. Many key decisions are made at higher levels and passed down to the local councils. Local authorities are classified into three categories based on population and size economic activity. At the top are city council, like Majlis Bandaraya, which manage the largest urban centres. Example include Kuala Lumpur City Hall, Penang City Council and Johor Bahru City Council. Below them are municipal councils, which is Majlis Perbandaran, governs a medium-sized town with significant commercial activity. Example here is including Talim Jaya and Shah Alam. The most numerous are district councils, Majlis Daerah, which cover rural and semi-urban areas and provide basic services to smaller communities. Despite having powers to enforce bylaws and levy certain taxes, local authorities in Malaysia operate with considerably limited autonomy compared to the counterparts in other countries. Budget approval, policy direction, and appointments are often determined by state government. This structure can affect responsiveness and innovation at the local level because local plans may need state approval before implementation. I'll pass to the next presenter.
And now I'll presenting the challenges and recent return. So the first one is financial. Local government in Malaysia face significant financial challenges due to limited revenue sources such as assessment taxes, business license, and small service charges. This situation forced council to prioritize basic service like waste collection and road maintenance, while community development projects are often delayed. Budget constraints are further worse by inflation, technology demands, and the mismatch between community needs and the council financial capacity. So heavy reliance on central and state government allocation reduce financial autonomy, especially for rural councils with weak tax bases, leading to project delays when funds are late or insufficient. To overcome this issue, some councils have introduced measures such as public-private partnership, digital payment systems, and integrate reporting to enhance transparency and efficiency in revenue collection. Next is um next is transparency. The Malaysian local government system has evolved from colonial central control to a modern framework under the Local Government Act 1976. Despite this progress, transparency issues remain, especially in financial reporting and resource management. Problems such as budget reporting deficiencies, audit delays, and lack of independent oversight have weakened accountability. To address these challenges, reform including digital payment system, integrated reporting, and public-private partnership have been introduced to strengthen accountability and public trust. According to the World Bank, open of data adoption of digital technology and integrated management system are crucial to improving financial transparency and responsiveness to social demands. So, lastly is community participation. Community participation in Malaysia local governance has developed in line with the legal framework, especially after the Local Government Act 1976, which consolidates laws of strengthened council's authority. However, Challenges remain in ensuring meaningful involvement of communities as barriers such as low public awareness, limited access to information, and perception of top-down decision-making continue to exist. Studies showed that communication gaps between councils and residents undermine policy effectiveness and weaken trust. In response, local council have introduced digital complaint platform, e-participation system, and public-private partnership program to encourage greater engagement. So the World Bank emphasized the open of data, digitalization, and inclusive participation mechanism are essential to strengthen trust, legitimacy, and responsiveness of local to community needs. So I'll pass to the next presenter.
In conclusion, the local government system has developed from colonial times to a formal structure, providing basic services and directing local development in Malaysia. It is also under the state government and has a high level of federal influence, meaning that there is not much autonomy for local councils and a great reliance on the state and federal budget. Nonetheless, there are some improvement in terms of transparency, efficiency, and responsiveness. Better financial rules, increased supervision, and citizen participation can make local government more democratic, flexible, and efficient, contribute to the overall development and stability of Malaysia. That's all from us. Thank you.
So anyone that wanted to ask any question can can put it onto the chat box. Thank you.